Hey everyone, welcome back to Reimagine with Robin. Reimagine with Robin is a 15-minute conversation with someone who is reimagining, recreating, and redesigning the way we interact with the world. Today, I have the chance to talk to Nicole and Paul, who are here reimagining cafes. So let me do some quick intros. Nicole is the Chief Operating Officer of Odeco. Odeco is a company that is focused on building tools that are intentionally designed to help local coffee shops, cafes, bakeries to operate and grow. I had a chance to talk to Nicole last week, and you can check out part 1 of this conversation on our LinkedIn. We also have Paul here today, who is the co-founder and owner of the craft coffee house and roaster Birch Coffee, located right here in Manhattan. Paul, we'll love to have a little bit of an intro about you. How did you start Birch? Why did you start Birch? And then how did you find Odeco?
Well, thank you for the introduction, and thanks for inviting me to be here. It's an honor and a pleasure to sit and talk with everybody today. So about 12 years ago, my business partner Jeremy Lyman had the idea of wanting to start a coffee shop in the city. Both of us were pretty displeased with our work and wanted to do our own thing. I wanted to have my own business since I was a child. And you know, when you're a kid and your friend goes to the beach and you'd really like to go with your friend to the beach. So I was that friend, and I invited myself to join Jeremy on his idea to start a business. He initially turned me down, thought that he would be better served on his own. I pressed, and here we are 12 years later. So that was the very rough on how things got going. Coffee has always been something that's been near and dear to me. And the first time that I went to a coffee conference in 2009, I had an Amaro Gallo from Ethiopia served on a Clover machine, which I'm sure Nicole knows all about the Clover machines. And it changed the way that I viewed coffee. And I knew that that is what I wanted to do for as long as I was going to be working. I wanted to work and I wanted to serve and provide that type of coffee experience to people for as long as possible. As far as working with Odeco, the founder of Odeco, Dane, approached my business partner Jeremy a number of years ago, and the initial conversation was, what is something that you never want to do again? What is something that we could help you provide as a service that you would never have to do again? And Jeremy's response was, I never want to do inventory ever again. And I never want to do scheduling again. Scheduling thing, we're maybe further down the line. Inventory thing is very much what's been remedied. And it has changed the way that our business functions. So.
Yes, can you talk a little bit more about that? Nicole, feel free to chime in, but how does Odeco actually work inside of Birch? And remind me, how many locations do you guys have? Because I've definitely been in a number of your cafes in New York.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm saying thanks, assuming that you had a positive experience. I'm hopeful that you had a really positive experience. So we have 9 stores. We're opening our 10th on Tuesday in the Moynihan Train Hall, and that's the new Penn Station. So we're very excited about that.
That's how I get into the city.
Oh, awesome!
Right Tuesday.
Repeat your question about as far as Odeco's functionality. So just like
I guess, what is it like to use Odeco at Birch?
So an ever-changing process with Odeco. When we first started working with Odeco, we were using part of their AI platform that was assisting us in managing our nightly inventory for orders for the next day. The whole point of Odeco was to limit the inventory we have in store at any given time, to reduce that, not just the footprint, but just that cost of carry that we had within all of our stores, which impedes on our bottom line in a massive way when you're having to carry 20 cases of cups across stores, of which takes you several weeks to potentially go through. Having Odeco bring in sleeves nightly to us changes our business, because now we're only receiving what we need at any given time. So having that is a massive bonus. Additionally, it allows us, as we continue to grow and evolve, to build stores with Odeco as the footprint of how we're going to be receiving all of our product. So we can build our stores leaner, and it just makes us stronger in our ability, in our throughput ability.
Wow, it seems like that saves you a lot of time, because I heard from Odeco that a lot of these deliveries used to happen during the day, and now they happen at night. Nicole, like, what's the magic? How did you guys decide to do that?
I think the magic is in, when you think about a cafe space, the footprints are getting smaller with rents that were escalating. You have a hand truck, a delivery guy showing up in the middle of a rush. And it's disruptive. It's disruptive for the baristas. It's disruptive for the customers. And there's always a better way. And obviously it's much more efficient for us to be traveling at night and doing overnight deliveries. When there's no one in the cafe, we can actually stock shelves, put things where they belong. And there's nothing better, and I think I alluded to last time I was with you, a barista opening in the morning to a fully stocked store and having it be perfect. It's magical for them, and it helps set the tone for the day, which then enables them to do what they really care about, and that's serving the customer. So for us, it's utilitarian, and it also helps the cafe manage their inventory, not have a massive back room or a basement that they're constantly having to manage supply, the FIFO method of rotation. We are there, and we can deliver as frequently as every day or as infrequently as once a week. It depends on the shop owner and what they're looking for. And in Birch's case, we deliver every night.
Let's see. I guess, Paul, like when you grew the business, I guess in 2009 with your friend to now, over 10 shops, what has been the biggest challenge to scale? Like, did you have a lot of technology? Like, what was it like to run Birch before Odeco?
I mean, it was ore and rudder. That's what it's been. Coffee. I don't want to cast any aspersions across our industry, because it's, we're very fortunate to be able to do what we do, but we're slow in tech. That's just the reality of small businesses. Just generally speaking, we tend to be slower in tech. And, one thing that I will give my business partner all the credit in the world is that he has always been forward thinking on tech, knowing that, there was a place for this within the four walls. It was how to best utilize this. I recall times where he would often talk about, if we could just have our own logistics company and we could just drop off sleeves. This is something back in 2009, we're having this conversation, so we had very, very small amount of experience in running businesses, and even less in understanding the logistics and the complexities of all that. So scaling was initially, for the first several years, very, very challenging for us, because we're doing it, we're bootstrapping everything. Everything is our own money, coming out to make sure that things can function. On top of that, looking for best practices to make sure that the stores have what they need on any given day. And when you're dealing with 12 different vendors every single day, the complexity levels just goes through the roof, right? And then you have one thing not show up at one store that shows up at a different store. So just all these little anecdotes that I could drop of areas where we just kept running into walls. And Odeco has helped us very much to unlock all of that stuff by eliminating, 99% of our vendors and working with them as the sole person who's coming into the store on any given night.
Do you use the Odeco platform via your phone? Do you use it on your computer? Like, how do you actually access it?
Both. The store leads will access it either through an app on their phone, iPad, computer, whatever they want, however they want to enter the portal. They'll do it that way. And then we're able to obviously have access on the back end to make sure that, we're managing our inventory for anything that's needing to be picked up from our roastery by them as well.
One of the topics we talked about last time with Nicole was around like democratizing this access of how the franchises were run. And she came from, the world of Starbucks. And so when you and your business partner was starting Birch, did you ever consider like opening another Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or Pete's or something? Or did you kind of decide to reimagine this whole cafe or coffee experience?
It's a really good question. And I think this is something that it really comes down to the business owner and kind of what their own personal, desires are. For us, we wanted to create something that was organic in our own and New York, right? Something that felt that was a part of this city. The things that you listed, while all those are absolutely wonderful, viable options for people that want to start a business, for us, it didn't have the same. It lacked that uniqueness, right? That having our own voice. And so even though we stumbled and failed multiple times in the first, still today, it's ours, right? And it's our association. Everything that we create is our voice. And there's a lot more pride for us personally being able to do that.
Wow. I love being in your cafe. So I hope you don't kick me out because I would sit there with my computer and probably just leech. So.
It's very sweet. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you for that.
So Nicole, Paul was talking about supply chain ordering and logistics and drop off. What's next to help enable cafes do their job?
It's interesting. I think it's a customized approach, actually. I mean, Paul and I have spent a lot of time together. I've spent a lot of time with Jeremy looking at the future of Birch and saying, all right, where are there synergies that, either my knowledge and experience can help, or what's their business plan, and how does Odeco fill the space that they are currently trying to figure out a solution for? So oftentimes we're that business partner. And I think that it's unique to every cafe that we support. We try to really understand the nature of what that business owner is trying to achieve. And in this case, Paul and I have spent a lot of time together kind of looking at, okay, how do you scale the brand? What does it look like? How do you reimagine just footprint? What does the size look like? The ambiance is great. The product offering is fabulous. The customer service is off the charts. So where does Odeco come in? Jeremy doesn't enjoy scheduling. So I could see that as kind of a next offshoot with a really great test environment where Odeco is helping on the scheduling part. And we're figuring out the solution that helps every cafe owner, but maybe we're testing it in the Birch cafes. And that's what's great about having Jeremy and Paul as early adopters of Odeco, because we really truly are partners. And so we'll test things with them. They test things with us. We do their internal loop from their roast house. So they don't need to have their supply trucks and their own drivers and manage a fleet. We do that for them. And so there are little synergies that we can glean when they're trying to solve a business problem. That's where we can sit down at a table and say, all right, you know what, that's something we could actually do, or let us reimagine that with you, and let's come up with what the parameters are. So we've been fortunate in that, and that's how we're looking to scale. We truly want to be a good partner to everybody that we work with.
That seems to be a stark difference from a lot of technologies, right? Like being that close to the customer and like really weaving that into the product. It's not easy. So
no, but it's a lot of fun and it's very rewarding. And I think, we're very fortunate to have a really talented team of people who are really smart and can imagine very cool and innovative solutions to basic problems that every cafe owner has had for years. And I think that, we're really truly reimagining a space that was ripe for innovation.
Paul, you mentioned that you're opening a new shop. And so how are you reimagining even spaces for cafes post-COVID? And would you also take it to another city that maybe Odeco has some presence in?
Yes to everything. We will be hard pressed to move into a city that Odeco is not a part of, because we are so intimately tied with Odeco now in our process. I can't imagine why I would want to open a store in another city that they weren't a part of. Fortunately, they're expanding, and so that's going to the likelihood of that not being the case is smaller and smaller. As far as reimagining the experience, we believe that automation and mobile ordering, rewards, things like that are going to start playing a much larger role long term. Being able to pivot that, when COVID first hit, we were shut down for a couple months. We had to kind of reconfigure how ordering took place, because you couldn't do a physical transaction with someone initially, or at least we chose not to, right? Just out of the safety of our staff and of our customers. And so what does this look like, in the further down the road? So how do we best serve our customers, and giving people a variety of ways to place orders with us? So that's going to be something that we're focusing on in the short term, and building out stores that reflect that, to allow people to have whatever experience they choose to want to order with us.
Yeah, super convenient. I can imagine myself already like getting into the city on the train and ordering on the app, and it's just like being able to pick up once I walk by, right?
Yep.
That would be
Ideal model.
Yep, that's it.
I guess if you were to start a new coffee shop today, or Birch again, what would you do differently or not?
I do get this question, and it's tough to say what I wouldn't do, because everything that we've done along the way has informed the decisions as we move forward, right? And so to say that I would never do X again, I think is just dishonest, because that helped us get to where we are today.
Yeah.
One thing I would certainly not do is have a kitchen in our coffee shops, which is what we did for about 3 or 4 years when we first opened. We were building stores with kitchens in them. And as soon as we eliminated the kitchens, our sales went up 25% immediately, and our efficiencies you can't calculate how much faster we were able to, you can, but we didn't, how much faster our ticket times got, because it's just, there were so many things that were hurdles in having a kitchen. So we would definitely not have kitchens if were we to start all over again.
Would you have a bar?
A bar? You mean a bar like we currently have? Oh,
for drinks after coffee at night.
So we thought about that as well. And it's something that we did attempt. I've yet to, and obviously Nicole can speak to this with Starbucks, but I've yet to see a focused coffee company do alcohol well. I am certain that it exists in some capacity, but again, I have limited experience of seeing that be successful.
Yeah, I think, Nicole, there was like Starbucks had tried it out in a few places, right? I remember even in like San Jose or somewhere in California.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit after my time, so I'm not sure I'm good to comment on it, but it definitely, it did have a moment there.
Yeah.
So Odeco couldn't enable that. We'll see.
Good.
Well, I know we're about to be out of time, and thank you so much both for joining us today. This was such a pleasure. Paul, you told us that you're about to head over to Guatemala. So I think that is probably one of the best and most exciting things about being in coffee. So please take us along with you as you're looking for new beans and new coffees to roast.
I'd love to. It's a pleasure to be able to do so. Yeah, I would love to do that.
And Nicole, thank you for your continued partnership. We're so excited to be a part of the journey.
Thank you, Robin.